California has taken a bold step that's stirring up a lot of debate. It has passed a law banning law enforcement officers from wearing masks that conceal their identities while on duty, except in specific situations like riot control, medical reasons, or undercover operations. But here's where it gets controversial. This law directly challenges the secretive tactics used by some federal agents, especially during immigration enforcement actions. In August, an immigration raid at a car wash in California brought this issue into sharp focus. Governor Gavin Newsom, a Democrat known for his outspoken criticism of former President Trump, signed this groundbreaking legislation in Sacramento, calling it the first of its kind in the United States. He framed the use of masks by law enforcement as a symbol of rising authoritarianism, saying it allows officers to operate hidden from accountability, any transparency, any oversight. Newsom bluntly referred to this as Trump's America, highlighting the political tension surrounding the issue. According to Newsom, federal agents in California had traditionally operated without masks, and the recent shift to masked enforcement is a disturbing new tactic designed to intimidate and terrorize California's diverse communities. This law, dubbed the No Secret Police Act by its supporters, was largely a response to the surge in immigration enforcement activities, particularly in Los Angeles, where masked federal agents have been seen detaining individuals on the streets without clear identification or badges. These actions have sparked widespread protests against Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, in the city. The law is set to take effect next year, but its ultimate impact remains uncertain. One major question is how much authority California has to regulate federal law enforcement officers operating within its borders. Raquel Aldana, a law professor at the University of California, Davis, explains that California is attempting to draw clear boundaries on what federal agents can and cannot do within the state. She points out that while states cannot override federal law, there must be limits, just as states would never allow federal agents to commit crimes like murder or torture. This law is part of California's effort to assert its sovereignty and protect its residents from unchecked federal power. Other states, including New York and Massachusetts, are watching closely and considering similar legislation, signaling a growing movement to rein in federal enforcement tactics. ICE has declined to comment on the new law. Historically, ICE officials have defended the use of masks by saying they protect agents from being identified in videos or photos that could lead to threats against them or their families. Governor Newsom didn't stop with the mask ban. He also signed several other related bills. One requires law enforcement officers to clearly display their name or badge number while on duty. Another mandates that schools notify parents and staff when immigration enforcement is present on campus. And two more prohibit ICE agents from entering schools and healthcare facilities without valid warrants. However, Aldana notes a potential limitation. The mask ban does not apply to California's state-level law enforcement agencies, which could weaken its overall effect on federal agents. On the other hand, it does apply to local police and sheriff's departments, which typically operate without masks. These agencies will need to develop mask policies in compliance with the law by July 2026. Unsurprisingly, the law has faced strong opposition from several California law enforcement groups. The California State Sheriff's Association, along with the California Peace Officers Research Association, PORAC, the state's largest law enforcement organization representing over 80,000 public safety members, and the Police Chiefs Association have all criticized the bill. They argue it puts officers and their families at risk by removing a layer of protection. Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco, a Republican and gubernatorial candidate for 2026, has been particularly vocal. He accused Governor Newsom and Democratic lawmakers of prioritizing the safety of criminals over that of law enforcement officers. They didn't ban criminals from wearing masks. They didn't tell criminals they had to identify themselves, Bianco said during a campaign event in Northern California. Every single person that voted for that needs to be eliminated in the next election. Anyone that votes for those people are absolute idiots. His harsh words underscore the deep political divide this law has ignited. On the other side, advocates like Giselle Garcia from NorCal Resist, a Sacramento-based mutual aid group that supports immigrants facing deportation, see the law as a positive step, even if it's not fully enforceable. Garcia acknowledges the ongoing tension between state and federal powers, but believes codifying these rules into law creates a foundation for legal challenges against federal overreach. She shared that their court observers have experienced verbal harassment and even physical assaults by masked ICE agents who refuse to identify themselves, highlighting the real-world implications of anonymous enforcement. This new law raises important questions. Should law enforcement officers be allowed to conceal their identities while performing their duties? Does the need for officer safety outweigh the public's right to transparency and accountability? And how far should states go in regulating federal agents operating within their borders? California's move is a bold assertion of state sovereignty and a direct challenge to federal immigration enforcement tactics. But it also opens the door to heated debates about security, privacy, and civil rights. What do you think? Is this law a necessary protection for communities? Or does it put officers at unnecessary risk? Share your thoughts and join the conversation.